That would help. And I
turn that setting off. Did you turn it back on?
not intentionally. Not intentionally. I don't think I turned it back on or off.
You want? Oh, maybe your headphone volume's down.
It might be.
Maybe you're not plugged in.
Oh, am I? I'm plugged in.
It's just down.
Oh, all right, all right. Oh, there it is. Yes. All right. Hello, Facebook. Let me make sure. Got something going. Got a lot of hashtags. If you've already jumped on our Facebook, you need to share it with your friends. This is important. This is important.
It's important that we do a mic check.
Mic check.
So I'm going to talk. I'm going to talk about like this. I think everyone needs to come up overall.
Everyone
Did
needs
we
to
already
come up
go
a little
live?
bit.
Yeah, we
On
did.
Facebook, we did,
Oh,
yeah.
we're freaking mic checking while we're live. Gotta
Yeah,
love
yeah.
that.
Why not? check. 1, 2.
You know, it takes time.
I wanted to wipe the desperation off my face before we went live. You guys should have told me.
How many times did I say it?
Like, I listen to you. Adam, tell me next time.
All right. That sounds good. That sounds, mostly good.
Sounds good to me.
A little bit louder.
A little bit louder
yeah,
now.
Everyone.
A little bit louder now.
You're correct, Stuart. I did look ecstatic. Ecstatic.
I was going to say, is that a word? Ecstatic?
And swith the suit as I just got back from law school. I wear a suit because I go to the internship.
Blah, blah, blah.
Screw you. That's what's swith the suit. All right.
Cool.
I'm ready when you are.
Got all those cues ready? Mm-hmm. Wonderful. I'm going to hit record in 3, 2.
Hey, this is Jeremy. Thanks for listening to the podcast. You can check out more great content.
Oops.
Also find us on Facebook,
Oh,
YouTube,
that was
and
wonderful.
Twitter. New
Good
podcasts
job.
go live on Saturday. So
Try that again.
Hey, the wonderful things you guys on Facebook get behind the scenes.
That would be a cut.
All right, let's roll.
Take 2. 3, 2.
Hey, this is Jeremy. Thanks for listening to the podcast. You can check out more great content on threeheadedeagle.com. Also find us on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter. New podcasts go live on Saturday, so be sure to subscribe to the weekly podcast on iTunes and Stitcher.
Today's Supreme Court decisions reflect the state of American politics.
The Democratic-controlled Senate has rejected
President
a Republican
Barack Obama
proposal
says
to restore
Republicans
funding
were
for
responsible.
certain programs. The U.S. government remains partially paralyzed.
It's the battlefield of ideas. Ideas, inspiration, information. Welcome to the Three-Headed Eagle Show.
And welcome to the Three-Headed Eagle Show. My name's Adam. I'm here with my two friends, Drums and Jeremy. What if I did the podcast like that all the time?
Then we would be a douchebag show.
I wouldn't show up.
Thanks for asking.
No, not anymore?
I
You,
wouldn't.
you don't like it?
No.
What? How'd you guys this week?
It was good.
Because it seems to be there's a bunch of people really upset. Not sure why. And a bunch of people that seem quite deplorable. That are really happy.
I don't know. Which
Yeah.
is what... Okay, so the Trump supporters are happy and deplorable.
And deplorable. I mean, that's just
Whatever we got is that because we got called deplorable over and over and over again by a Facebook troll this week? Because we're Trump supporters. Because you've
Yeah.
listened to 10 seconds of this show, dude.
And, well, I cordially invited them to call into the podcast and debate, but they didn't take us up on that. So, the election was this week. Did you guys watch it? Oh, I know Jeremy watched it.
Yeah, well, we were together.
We were together, arguing and eating really delicious tacos.
Those were good tacos.
They were great tacos.
Yeah, that was the one thing we weren't arguing about. Well, actually, after Trump started winning, we stopped arguing and we just started laughing. Because we didn't know how else to react. we were just going, you gotta be kidding me.
I absolutely could not help myself.
I was in denial. I was watching the results in Wisconsin. And I was going, no, it's like the early ballots or something, and it's going to turn back, and then it's like 60% of the vote, and he's still ahead by like 4 points. I'm like, what the freak is going on? He's not going to win Wisconsin. And then Fox News called Wisconsin for Trump, and I went, holy
What?
crap,
Yeah.
Trump's going to be the next president. And we just started laughing because we didn't know how else to react. It's like, what do you do at that point? You can sit around and mope about it, right? Which a lot of people are doing. Well, a lot of people are taking to the streets and
they are
moping
not
about it.
sitting around moping about it.
Yeah.
They're sitting around the campfire made of trash cans outside of Trump Tower moping about it. Because
Well,
they
that's-
lit the trash cans on fire.
You just said they're not sitting around moping about it, and then you said they're sitting around trash
They
cans
ha-
on fire moping,
Yeah.
which is
That's
sitting
more
around
than
moping.
just
I have
sitting
to put
around moping. That's burning stuff down. Now, the majority of the protesters are peaceful. Just this small handful in every city has burned something down.
What are they? I've seen burning flags.
Burning flags, and there's been a few piles of trash.
Why on earth would you burn a flag at this point? What on earth is that even supposed to mean? I don't get it. Okay, because
America's dead or something like that.
is that it? America's dead because we picked a bad president?
We've had a few. We've had a few bad
Yeah, we've had
presidents.
terrible presidents before. Everybody knows that.
In fact, we've had a string of them recently.
Well, okay, no, you're right, Strong.
Yeah.
Millennials might not know that.
Yeah.
They might be. You might be like, "Hey, name the last 5 presidents," and they'd be like, "Obama,
Obama. Bush.
Bush sucked,
and
And
Elton
the first
John.
time, Hillary Clinton.
and Hillary." Yeah, I wanted her back in.
Oh my gosh!
John McCain?
No, he lost.
Before or after he
to
died?
Obama, the first one you named.
It was, dude. Okay, there was a few things in Arizona that were disappointing. John McCain's still a senator.
But we knew that back when he
Yeah.
won the freaking
Yeah,
primary.
he wasn't gonna lose his seat.
No,
He won by a lot, right?
Yeah,
I honestly didn't even look. I posted on Facebook, and everybody that's friends with me on Facebook saw this. I had my "I voted today" sticker, and I drew a frowny face on it.
I did see that. Yeah.
Yeah,
I thought you cut holes into it.
no,
As a
it's
fr-
just a marker.
Oh.
Yeah, I didn't. That would be like angry. Like, take a knife to it.
I thought you stupid
Sticker.
cut out an angry face.
No,
John
that
McCain
was just a marker.
won. John McCain won 53% to 41%.
The reason I drew that on there was not because of the presidential election. It was because I looked all the way down my ballot. State senators, state congressmen.
That's me.
Oh, thanks, Jones. Right? Sheriff, county assessors.
None of them were all that appealing.
And I was just going, what the heck am I supposed to be excited about today? I will tell you that I have one of the best congressmen in Arizona, David Schweikert, and he won by 79%. And so the one thing I had to be excited about, I was already like,
Holy
yeah,
cow.
you kind of got that in the bag. Of course, you know what else I said somebody had in the bag? I have to own this. I did say Hillary Clinton had the presidency in the bag.
Yeah, you're not alone.
And on election night, Karl Rove was on TV, and I said, "Karl, you were so wrong last time that you shouldn't even be allowed to express your opinion about elections." So I want everybody to know I am officially retired from the business of predicting elections. I'm giving opinions all the time, but I am done predicting elections. I am not going to tell you anybody's got it in the bag. I'm not even going to tell you I think this person shall win. I might tell you I think, hey, this person still has a chance in this primary. You know, that's not over. That's not predicting. I'm saying it's not over. It's stating a fact.
it's all
but
changed,
I
though.
am officially out of the prediction business. Done.
Based on the history of elections, though, it's a fair statement to say. I said it too. I was wrong too. Mm-hmm. But like we were talking about during the election, this election changes everything.
Yep.
Donald Trump beat Hillary Clinton with a Twitter account. He didn't have much of a ground game. People didn't think he had a great ground game. But and now, as I think about it more and more, the communication, the face-to-face debates, the interactions between people don't happen at doorsteps anymore.
No.
They don't happen in freaking call centers anymore. He used social media the way Hillary used knocking on doors and making phone calls. His ground game was his Twitter feed.
Mm-hmm.
Elections are completely different now.
You're not boiling it down to that one thing, though.
I think it's a major player. I think it's the biggest player.
No, see, I think there's so many different factors. I think that's what like
I think WikiLeaks helped and stuff like that, but that
Yeah,
all
absolutely.
spans from. It's not people going across the street and saying, "Did you see the article in the newspaper that said that Hillary Clinton and the Clinton Foundation had these issues?" No, it was tweeting, it was Reddit,
but-
it was Facebook.
But they had the lawn signs. He had the hats. He had, there's
It's so minute in comparison. Think about how many followers. There was one article, and I'll have to look it up, where it compared the Trump Facebook or social media pages and the followers, the shares, the likes, and the interactions
Yeah.
versus Hillary's, and he blew her out of the water
yeah.
in those. And so, and that's how people communicate now. People don't talk to each other on the street nearly as much as they used to. People don't answer their phone to numbers they don't recognize. I got the text messages every once in a while, right? Don't forget to go out and vote for Hillary Clinton or John McCain or whoever. The text messages here and there. But man, most people, they're Twitter, they're Facebook. That's where the conversation happened. And I don't think Hillary quite figured that out.
She had hashtag I'm with her.
I saw
think
people all
that's about
over
it,
my
but-
Facebook. I mean, they're all in mourning now.
That's true.
They're like in my Facebook feed. I don't know the people I'm friends with. I guess I don't know. It's like a little bubble of like everyone who's uber left, and I don't know why I only see them, but they're all in full on meltdown right now. America is dead. I can't. Shame on you, America. I'm embarrassed to be an American.
I get it. I was that person 8 years ago. I was saying very, very similar things. I wasn't burning flags, but I literally thought, holy crap, we are done. But I'm going to tell you, I think that Donald Trump is going to do damage to America. I think he will leave the country worse than he found it. But there's going to be an America in 4 years.
It may not look exactly the same.
Because
It won't look exactly the same. That's one thing we can be pretty sure of. This isn't going to be that. Some people are saying, "Oh, well, we're hoping for 4 years of stalemate," because
Yeah.
Trump's one thing, but the Republican Party, they're going to unite against him, and they hold the Senate and the House right now. So it's just, I'm like, that makes no sense
That's not gonna
whatsoever.
happen.
All right,
No.
so just before we get too far away from it, to solidify my point with some of the numbers, there's a research, just a little study came out during the election in the same time frame. You're looking at with Trump, with Facebook likes in this time frame, Trump had 10 million to Hillary's 5 million. To his live stream posts, he had 135,000 likes, 18,000 shares, 1.5 million views. To her, 11,000 likes, 0 shares on this particular thing, and 321,000 views. On Twitter, Trump has 10 million followers. Hillary has 8 million followers. Trump has 30% more Twitter followers, and that translated to real votes, which I agree.
but not 30% more votes.
No, that's true, but it's still a ground game. People didn't see it as that, but that's exactly what it was. On Instagram, he had 2.2 million followers. She had 1.8 million followers. On YouTube live streams, the averages were between 30,000 or were around 30,000 for him, rather than 500 for her. That's huge numbers. If you had a YouTube channel and you were getting 30,000 viewers on a stream on YouTube, and I was getting 500, we wouldn't know about each other.
Correct, but the vote was
It was
essentially
much
tied.
closer. Yes,
Essentially
you are
tied.
correct. But she was spending her money in the old way of doing things and was effective in the old way of doing things, and he was effective in the new way of doing things. People will look at this election and they will say that was when everything changed. That's when social media became more powerful than the old school ground game.
I can agree with that. I just don't like boiling it down to one thing, because then it's almost like, oh, well, the lesson for next time is you got to have a really strong social media presence.
Well, no, it's
and the
not-
next election,
But that
won't,
is the-
it won't be the
That
same.
is the lesson, though.
And it wasn't
that
part. One thing. It wasn't. Strauns is right. It's not one thing. It's definitely not. It was racism, sexism, bigotry, and I think hate. Those are the things that got Trump elected.
Oh, that's what got,
That's
got
what
him.
that's what I'm getting from Facebook.
Well,
is that,
what is it called? A white lash? It's hashtag white lash.
Yeah, Van Jones. His great hashtag. We should have hashtagged that on the Facebook Live. I forgot.
That's right. I'll comment.
So, Jeremy, you said going in that you didn't care who won. It didn't matter to you.
Correct.
You feel that way?
Yeah.
It could have been either or.
Yeah.
Adam?
I don't think it could have gone either way for me. I think there was some satisfaction in seeing a career politician lose. For me, is that what your question was?
But would
Yeah.
there have been
Okay,
some
good.
satisfaction in seeing Donald Trump lose?
Not as much.
Not as much
Why?
because
I don't know. There is the more people hate him, the more I kind of smirk that he won. And maybe that's just a weird thing in me, but I think there's a lot of people like that.
He's a
It's your
masochist.
little neener bone. You know,
my
your neener.
Anthony Wienerbone?
No, not your. Whoa. Nobody said wiener bone.
Oh my god!
Your neener. You get the neener. That's
Oh, okay.
all. You're sticking in their face. That's all.
Not in their
'Cause
face, in her
I-
face. The
I had-
idea that a career politician.
Yeah, but he
is a
said the
guarantee.
more people hate him.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough.
Well,
So-
going in, we had talked about this, and I had mentally prepared for her to win 100%. I think we all said it. She'll probably win. I said, if anyone can do it, I wouldn't put it past him. He could do it.
That's
I
true.
said that.
You were the closest
I did
one.
say that.
to
I was the
being
closest
right.
one to being right, but I was still really wrong. I wasn't on here like he's going to win. And you know what? He was kind of close to losing.
Almost every prediction that we made on the show, with the exception, yours was closest that you said if anybody could do it, he could pull it off, right? But you also said it's going to be a record high.
I did, and I was wrong.
Yeah. What number
Yeah.
did I
And
throw
so-
out? What number did I throw out? Anybody remember?
I thought you said 50s?
I remember. No, I said 120 million
It was pretty close.
100
for total vote.
Okay.
Yeah. Between Trump and Hillary, just under 120 million. There's about another 5 if you go with the Libertarian and the Green Party, which of course I count their votes. I'm not going to ignore them just to make myself more right. But yeah, I was pretty close. About 124 and a half all up.
Yep.
Not a lot of people wanted to go out to vote.
That's a stretch, I would say. Not a lot of people want. That's 120 million people. That's a lot of people.
But
It's
in
less.
comparison to previous elections,
Correct. It's less, but it's not the difference between only 60 million people voted. Man, we had some.
it's a terrible turnout.
Wow. Did they even know it was election day?
Yeah, but when you're talking about it was lower than the lows, right? I don't think it was actually the record low. I don't think it was the worst election
No, 'cause
in
it-
history. But
I think.
sorry, it wasn't the worst election as far as voter turnout in history.
Obama-
I maintain it was the worst election.
Obama
in history.
Romney was like 125, 130.
I thought it was more than that, but
You could look it up, but I don't think it's in my mind, significantly less. It is less
Yeah.
because I think what Adam you were getting at before, saying Twitter and social media had such a big impact. Absolutely, but I think Hillary's track record had a bigger impact, and just the fact that people like her
Yeah,
because of her
WikiLeaks
party.
was
The people who are really upset, and this is also the thing that I was saying, Jeremy, that the more people hate him, I don't see people providing good reasons. We've talked about it. Us, and I've heard a few commentators, mostly people on the right, saying why they don't like him for legitimate reasons. But everyone on the left who is in tears right now cannot give me real answers as to why they're
Dude, they
genuinely
give you all kinds
afraid.
of real answers.
No,
Dude,
it's
he
the-
hates gay people.
Right, it's that stuff. And I'm like, what specifically do you point to? Like his comments on the bus, like that offends you so much that
no, I think there's things they could point to if they actually thought about it that they could back that up with.
Well, yeah,
they
if
may
they-
not
if
have
they
a
listened to
strong
our
case.
show, they would know what those
They may
things
not
are.
have a strong case, but you can point to the whole in the beginning of his campaign. I want to ban Muslims from entering the country for 5 years. Right? That sure has at least the appearance of racism, doesn't
Yes.
it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, absolutely.
You can.
and
you
we
could-
said that's crazy.
Right. Yeah, I know that. But I'm just pointing out a few things that they could base their case on, right? You could say that his comments of Mexico is sending all their rapists and murderers. Now, people translated that into everybody coming from Mexico is a rapist or a murderer, which I don't think is technically what he said. But I can see
He
how
said
you
they're
could get
sen-
that.
He
I
said
think-
the Mexican government doesn't want a wall. They're sending us there.
Yeah.
Basically pointing out that the drug cartels, they'd rather them do business here than in Mexico.
Right.
That was his point, but he, of course, puts his foot in his mouth all the time.
This is the formula I see. News stations, news anchors, people on the left will take a statement or something he said that is controversial or, in their mind, extreme. They'll take that statement, twist it to what they want him to be saying, something even more extreme, more crazy. They'll they'll spit that out for a week, couple weeks of this kind of rehashed narrative where they're not quoting, they're kind of paraphrasing him,
Yeah,
right?
they're just saying it.
Oh, you bragged about sexual assault. Well, yes, but that's not literally what he said. You could quote what he said,
And it would still be bad.
and it would still be bad,
Yeah.
100%. But you've amplified it a little bit by saying that, right? And then they just go back to it, months later, weeks later. They go back to it and said, oh, he said really offensive things about Mexicans. He said really offensive things about black people. And they're not quite sure what he said at that point. The people who are, regurgitating this information, they're just like, yeah, he is. He is really racist. He is really sexist. And it becomes that kernel of that vast generalization. And then they point the finger at all the people supporting him and say, "Oh, you're racist. You're sexist. How could you vote for this guy?"
I saw an article. Maybe I can hunt it down. I have to look on a specific person's Facebook page, but I saw an article where essentially it says if you vote for Donald Trump, what is it? The article title is like, "I love you, but voting for Donald Trump says a lot about our relationship," or whatever. And essentially the article was saying, if you vote for him, you're endorsing everything he's ever said and done. Mm-hmm. So therefore, you hate me because I'm a Hispanic gay person. And so therefore, you hate me because you've voted for him and you're voting for every single word that ever came out of his mouth ever. And so it drives me crazy because then you're like, okay, I haven't even heard all the words he's ever said. You probably have heard things that I haven't heard, and I've heard things that you've heard, but what is that, like, you really are saying that I have to, because I vote for him, I only vote for him because I agree with every word that's ever come out of his mouth? That logic is ridiculous. You're voting for Hillary, so I'm a deplorable? Well, actually, I wouldn't be excited to vote for Donald Trump, but my friends who vote for Donald Trump, they're deplorables?
We've sort of danced around a subject, which, by the way, very early on in the Facebook feed here was a subject of some interest to several of our viewers.
I don't believe you.
Well, check it out early on. There's a few people that wanted to know
Who did we
if
vote for?
Strons ended up voting for Trump or not.
What?
I did.
Oh!
We were hoping
You're
you'd say no.
deplorable.
We were hoping you'd say, I'm not going to tell you, and then we'd make fun of you and ridicule you.
No,
You own it.
I'll own it because I've said.
So,
I've
for
said.
example-
I've said my vote is not a 100% endorsement of the candidate.
How much of an endorsement is it?
It's picking the option. Like Arizona was
Really close.
close.
Uh-huh.
And when I have a preference for Trump over Clinton, I will vote for that preference because I know Johnson isn't going to win. And I don't. And if it's an endorsement, I don't endorse Johnson either.
True. Yep.
But that's my point.
So-
I don't see if I'm on a bus with Strons, I don't expect him to start talking like Donald Trump, or expect that what he says on a bus or anywhere else is 100% always in agreement with you. But that's what that article was saying, and it was being shared by people on the left on Facebook as if that's true. If you voted for Donald Trump, then you are what this perception I have of Donald Trump, you're the same. It's not even what really is Donald Trump. It's my perception of Donald Trump is what you are endorsing.
You're voting for the boogeyman, and so that for
Makes
you are the boogeyman.
The boogeyman.
And that mentality is why people voted for Trump. Because I think there's a lot of people who are sick of it.
Yeah.
But if it was the boogeyman versus the devil, you'd still vote for the boogeyman?
Versus what? Krampus versus,
Krampus.
versus the Gremlins. I don't know, like, if there had been a strong, in my opinion, strong third-party candidate, I would have voted for the person who I felt I agreed with. But when I look at Johnson, I agree with him probably just as much as Trump or just as much as Clinton.
I understand that, but
because you said you were voting for third party as maybe like a token for the future, as like there's legitimacy here to other options.
Yeah, no, I understand the principle of it's not an endorsement of everything he does. But there is still, for me, a cutoff where I say, yeah, I don't endorse everything he does. In fact, I endorse almost nothing he does, and so I can't vote for him.
And that's fine, but I there's stuff that what Donald Trump has said, I do agree with some of the stuff he says.
But you can't go
All
off
the
what he
racist-
said.
all the
we've talked
racist,
about this
sexist
100
stuff.
times. You already know this, Strauss. You already know this. No, hang on. No,
The racist stuff, the sexist stuff, 100%.
No, for real. You already know that you can't go off of what anything Donald Trump has said.
I can't go off what anyone says. The only person I can trust is myself. You could
That's
say
a fair
all
point.
right. No, it's not a
one's-
fair point. That's a ridiculous point.
No, it's a fair point.
No, it's
no
not.
one during
It's
an
not.
election season is
No.
ever telling you the 100% truth.
No one has ever. No, they're not telling you 100% truth, but I've never known anybody that has switched an opinion as much as Donald Trump. He's literally had one opinion on his website and said a different thing, and the next day it says what he said on the camera.
Okay.
So, switch the website because I said something different. I've
Okay.
never seen anybody switch that much. So there's never been a candidate that you could listen to this little and actually believe it. So when you say, oh, I agree with some of the things he said, well, I guess under that circumstance, I agree with some of the things he said. But, maybe it was one of the middle opinions, not the first or the last.
No, I know what you're saying. Now, you could spin that easily, very easily. Oh, well, he's getting good advice. And so he's open-minded. I don't think the people around him are, like, I don't trust Chris Christie, But when I have the option of someone who wants to tax people more or someone who wants to tax people less, says he wants to tax people less.
But he switched on that, too.
Okay.
Right toward the end of the campaign. I mean, you're talking
He's at
about
least
just
said
4
it.
months ago.
He's at least said it.
Oh,
Hillary Clinton never said once that I want to lower taxes for corporations. She wants to raise them. That's what she said the whole time. Mm-hmm. Pay their fair share. Pay their fair share. What's enough of their fair share? I want to, Obamacare. It's good. We just need to tweak a few parts of it. No.
what was his plan?
Repeal and replace. That's what he says.
With what?
I don't know.
I do. Because he said he was going to get health care for every American, even if it cost him votes. And it's a very un-Republican thing to say.
But he also said we break down the barriers and use the free market system.
Yes, he said the
So
state
the idea
lines.
is at least half of what he says.
He said focus on HSAs. Like, he says a lot, and I agree with you that he switches his mind. But when you have someone who I know 100%, and it's a close state, I'm gonna vote for Trump.
No.
There's a lot of people who feel that way, and I felt that
And
way
this is
voting
not
for
this is not
Mitt
my
Romney.
endorsement of
You
him.
can feel wrong, but that's fine.
You can feel wrong.
Yes, you feel wrong.
What?
Sure, but I would say you think wrong, but Adam said there's a lot of
Oh.
people who feel that way instead of there's a lot of people that think that. So you feel wrong, you don't think wrong.
Would I have preferred Ted Cruz, someone who said he wants to abolish the IRS and do like flat tax or fair tax? I forget which point specifically he had, but
I believe he was a flat
absolutely,
taxer.
He was a flat tax guy.
absolutely. And we made that argument over and over again. I think we were all Ted Cruz fans, and we didn't want Trump, but that's who we got. Mm-hmm. And so it's like that battle's over. Now there's this new one, and
Well, I think part of that too is that question mark, that he is a question mark. We don't know what he's going to do. So do you go with, plate number 1 has a turd sandwich, but plate number 2 could have one of these 5 options, one of which is also a turd sandwich. Well, then you're like, oh, do I just take the turd sandwich, or do I grab the empty plate with nothing? Which part of what I'm
trying to flip the analogy so that everything else is worse than a turd sandwich, but I don't know what's worse than a turd sandwich. It's like a turd sandwich with mayonnaise.
But my point is,
that worse?
I grabbed the empty plate. I voted for Johnson and hoped to bring more attention to the Libertarian Party. Now, I knew that empty plate would give me nothing right now, in hopes that maybe someday I could put something on it. But Strauss decided, I assume, in the analogy that you're just like, I don't know what's under this. Hopefully it's something good.
like, okay, so Trump or Clinton is going to win, right? One of them was going to win.
Yep.
We know, to use a Game of Thrones analogy, winter is coming. Okay, there's bad stuff on the horizon. There always is. But I think like right now it feels like there's some pretty bad stuff, pending pretty soon. Talks about another recession coming up.
Turd with sprinkles would be better. Thank you, Monica.
That's what Monica said. And Monica also said, I always knew Strauss was a sexist.
Sorry, keep going, Strauss.
Recession likely coming up during his
Yes.
term. We've got potentially more conflicts in the Middle East, conflicts with Russia, maybe with China. Mm-hmm. We've got.
Did you see Putin's speech?
I didn't see. I know he said that he was kind of like happy about it or I'm looking forward to it.
All he said is, I'm looking
So-
forward to
so-
rebuilding relationships.
All those
so bad
things are
stuff-
true. So how on earth is having a Republican in office going to be a better thing?
Oh, I don't care about Republicans or Democrats.
Okay, well, how on earth is having Trump in office going to be a better thing?
Because that future that is coming that we know, like, that's going to happen no matter what, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know what Clinton's response is going to be to that. Mm-hmm. Her track record says it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what Trump's going to do. I don't know. He's pivoted so many times. Maybe he'll pivot to something I like. Maybe he'll pivot to something I hate. But guess what? That's what Clinton was going to do anyway.
I think there's a possibility he actually does something good. I do believe if he does, it's going to be by accident. But I think there is a possibility of that. And so I get where you're coming from. I have, I won't even say I have hope. I will say I'm just going into it with a clean slate for Trump. Okay? I'll tell you what. Let me backtrack just a little bit. President-elect Trump, I stayed up to watch, me and my wife stayed up until we're waiting until they called it. Mm-hmm. And we waited until What's-His-Bucket came out and said, everybody go home, nothing's going to happen.
Podesta.
Okay, lock the door. Okay, call Donald.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, because you're freaking idiot.
It's too close. We're still
it's
counting.
It's too close. We're still counting. As soon as that freaking door got locked, they called Donald Trump, you cowards. Anyway, but that's not what I was going to say. So we waited until we saw, because I wanted to see Donald Trump's acceptance speech. Mm-hmm. Because I wanted to see which Donald Trump was showing up.
He did
Right?
not seem like... Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you that's the only thing I know so far that President-elect Trump has done. And so right now, 100%, because that was right on the money. It was exactly what he needed to do.
Right. Bring
Okay?
people together.
Do I think he's going to remain 100%? No, that's not what I think.
I give him 2 days in office.
And yes, that's a prediction, Monica, but it's not an election prediction.
Did you see Hillary's concession speech?
No, I listened to it, yeah.
I thought it was pretty good.
I thought she did pretty well.
Yeah.
Both of them came out, and you have to give props to both of them because it was both, hey, please unite. Please don't do anything crazy. Mm-hmm. Right? Trump said, I'm going to be the president of everybody. I want to be everybody's president. Those of you that stood against me, I'm reaching out to you.
With an asterisk, though.
Cool.
Because they didn't write those speeches.
Yeah, sure. They didn't write those speeches. I
But
totally
they said,
believe
they
that.
said
Here's
those
the thing-
words.
here's the
Obama
thing,
came out and
too.
said
But
some
I
nice stuff,
actually
too.
will say, I
That's
looked
true.
at Trump for the first time, and I thought, I think he actually means that.
He
Okay? And
have a
that's
different-
why it was so
yeah,
impressive
because
to me.
he did
His
have a
face
different
believed
face,
it.
yeah.
This is the
if
thing.
you ask me.
This is the thing about Trump. I know, Jeremy, you disagree with him on policy. Go back to all the people who are out in the streets right now who are saying this is the end of the world, the apocalypse is here, let's all move to Canada. Those people liked Trump before he was this guy, what he's been painted as. Mm-hmm. You don't get as famous and as much as of a celebrity by being someone who is that hated to where you think that, like, oh my gosh, we just elected the Antichrist, right?
But there's a difference between liking a game show host and liking a politician.
Right.
A game show host can be whoever.
But Trump, when he comes out and he says, I want to be the president for everyone, I do think he genuinely means that because
do too.
he likes to be a popular guy.
I don't know if he knows how to do it, but I
Right.
believe that he means it.
On policy, yes. But he knows how to entertain. He knows how to, like, his speech when he wasn't attacking not his speech, the archdiocese, where he was doing some jokes, his little comedy.
Oh, the charity.
I just thought, is there going to be a season of The Apprentice to elect the Secretary of State? Just thought of that.
No, he did his little comedy routine, and he warmed up the audience. People liked him. Now, he went into some pretty bad territory when he started attacking Hillary Clinton when she's sitting 2 seats away from him.
Yeah.
But
Well,
the
she
first,
did the same
but
thing.
the first half, that is a Trump that is likable by, I think, pretty much everyone. When you watch that, will you have bad
The
feelings
first
about
half.
him? Yeah, the first half. Oh, he's pretty funny. Oh, he's
But
joking
she did
around.
the same thing. The only difference was she sprinkled it throughout, and he just basically unloaded the second half on her.
I think Trump has a factor that Obama has, where he's got that charm, he's got that charisma in certain situations, and everyone has painted him as such a terrible guy, and they're so afraid of him. Mm-hmm. And like if he comes out and he says we're legal or illegal, if you have brown skin, we're kicking you out. No, impeach him. Get rid. Like what?
Right.
That's crazy. I don't think he's going to do that.
Well, nothing
if-
indicates he will.
If he says let's start killing the gays or whatever crazy thing people are afraid he's going to do, no, absolutely, I will stand against that. But he hasn't done that yet, and he hasn't given me an indication he's going to do that. But you don't know, and I think that's what you're saying, Jeremy. Is maybe it is scary, and the people are nervous because they don't know what they're going to get. Okay, sure, I'll be right there with you. I'm not going to break down and cry about it, but sure, I understand.
What else could be in the 5 options? Is it like, what's the best we can hope for? If it's not a crap sandwich, is it like a moldy taco? Like what?
No.
What is the very best that could possibly be under there?
A moldy taco. It's still a taco, and tacos are delicious.
See, that's what I'm saying.
It might make you sick, but you're like, first taste is pretty good.
At least it's got salsa.
Now, the thing, this is what scares me more than Trump. The fact that Republicans have control of everything.
Yeah, that bothers me too.
That really bothers me because I don't trust them to be wise with their decisions. I think they're going to repeal Obamacare, and then they're going to go nuts with their stuff, their agenda. And I don't think that's right. Just like when the Democrats did it. The first 2 years of Obama, when they were just shoving stuff down people's throats, and we got the Tea Party out of that, and people just freaking out. Like, they can't do that, and I think they will.
Yeah.
Or I'm very nervous that they will.
We tend to get in wars too quickly when Republicans are in power.
That's true. I don't think liberals tend to unite better than Republicans do, and
Which is
that's a compliment, and it's also a stab because they unite around really insane crap.
But they
Republicans,
all do. Everyone in government, if the government is trying to do anything, that's bad. No, stop it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. Okay, unless it is simply we're repealing this law.
Yeah.
That's it. You come out with we're repealing this. You come out with we're repealing it and we're replacing it with no, shut up. Just the first part. Just the first. We're repealing that thing.
Yep.
Right? I'm cool with it unless it's like, we're repealing the First Amendment. No, look, there's some things we want to leave alone. But for the most part, yeah, if they came out and said we're repealing Obamacare. Okay. Taking it back to the system that it was pre-Obamacare. Well, a step in the right direction. I would actually like to push the ball even further.
Keep going that direction.
But we're repealing Dodd-Frank. Okay, sounds
Cool.
good. Yeah,
Auditing the Fed.
but that's not what we're going to get.
Let's do that too.
We're repealing it and we're replacing it with a
Right.
much more Republican system.
Because ours is better.
And I don't mean Republican system as in like the Constitution guarantees us a Republican form of government. No, I mean the party. The party.
And I think it's clear, and we've seen it, especially during the Bush years, that the Republican Party is just as progressive as the Democrat Party. It's just different things.
Yeah.
They're just interested in different things.
They all like spending money. They all like making their programs.
So I do have to address a couple of douchebaggery items that I've detected on Facebook.
Uh-oh.
The first is that, I mean, have you seen these nincompoops that are like, oh man, hey, like it's this gun like crawling out from under the bed, and it's like, it's okay, buddy, you can come out, nobody's gonna take you.
Who posted that?
Have you seen it? You did, dummy. Posted it after a guy that said he was in favor of an assault weapons ban got elected.
Who ran on Second Amendment?
Who ran on Second Amendment? I don't know.
He ran on protecting the Second Amendment.
Did he? I don't know. After he said, yeah, I'm in
He
favor
talked
of an
about
assault
it a
weapons
lot.
ban, I quit listening to him.
Yeah, he talked
wrote
about
it in
a
his
lot.
book.
In the last several months, he talked about that a lot.
Good for him. He still said he was in favor of an assault weapons ban. So that assault weapon crawling out from under the bed, it's not safe.
Hey,
it's not any more
as
safe
long-
than it
as long
was
as
the
he-
day before.
If he's still saying that, it better be a state-by-state issue. New York can feel free to be more freaking tyranny than I want, because I'm not going to live there. I live in Arizona where I can have my freedom.
What other douchebaggery?
But the gun is not safer. So I had to say that because you posted that on our Three-Headed Eagle account. You didn't even post it on your own account. Feel free to be dumb on your own account. Don't represent me. So,
But
okay.
in Strauss's point, Hillary has been very consistent on gun
Yeah.
control.
That is true. So the inconsistent, yeah, I get it. We're playing Russian roulette with 6 bullets. So, but this is the other one that I've seen, and I really want to bring this up because this actually freaks me out. Okay,
What's that?
and it's not something that Trump's doing; it's something that Hillary Clinton supporters are doing. That freaks me out because of how Trump supporters would probably react to it. This is an article that I saw posted by one of my friends that says, Electoral College, make Hillary Clinton president on December 19th. Goes on to talk about how on December 19th, the electors of the Electoral College will cast their ballots. If they all vote the way their states voted, Donald Trump will win. However, they can vote for Hillary Clinton if they choose. Even in states where that is not allowed, their vote would still be counted. They would simply pay a small fine, which we can be sure Clinton supporters would be glad to pay. First of all, I'd have to look into the law. I know they didn't because further on down the list it says 24 states bind electors. Number's actually 29 plus the District of Columbia. So,
little off.
I know you didn't actually look into that, so the pay a small fine, I bet they don't actually know. I bet they're trying to convince the electors, no, you
not a
won't get
big
in
deal.
trouble at all. No big deal.
I'm not going to go to jail.
Right, yeah. So at least 29 states actually bind their electors. The rest, they're actually true. The article says, well, they're actually free to vote for whoever they want to. But what do you suppose, and I'll leave my negativity out of it, what would the consequence be? What do you suppose, and it wouldn't be all Trump supporters, it wouldn't be everybody that voted for Trump, but
It would be the most extreme, though.
yeah, how about, 3 to 5%? What would 3 to 5% of
No,
Trump supporters
I think
do?
it's like 5 to 8%.
5 to 8? Ooh, he's going higher.
Which is a lot of people. That's
Strong's, do
thousands
you
of
want to
people.
pick a number even higher than Adam so that he can have the middle ground again?
No! No! Go ahead, pick a number.
What's the question? What the Trump supporters are going to do?
Yeah, what the craziest percentage of Trump supporters, what would they do if the Electoral College gave the election to Hillary Clinton? And what do you suppose that percentage would be?
Hold on. So he got 60 million votes.
Yeah, pretty close to it, yeah.
And so, like, even 1% of that is still an insane amount of people.
Yes.
So I'm going to go, like, 0.01?
Yes!
All right, you get it. Wait a minute, am I in the middle?
Yes.
Screw you guys! Dadgummit! Hate that!
Why so moderate, Jeremy?
For crying out loud. So,
It
anyway.
would not look good. It would be civil unrest. People would be furious.
Yeah. Like how furious? Like, make a prediction. It's not an election, Monica. Make a prediction, Adam.
People on the right tend to be not as violent in their protests, unless it's like a one-off individual who would be crazy to be violent anyway.
Are we talking about the right or the alt-right?
Oh, that's a good question, because the alt-right isn't exactly small government conservative. They're more nationalist.
Mm-hmm.
They use identity politics, just like a lot of people on the left do, which makes me think that, yeah, they would be violent.
Speaking of nationalism, another thing I saw on Facebook. You know how the Trump bobbleheads, he was selling them to fund his campaign, but for some reason he's still selling them?
Well, he's making that money.
Kind of interesting, but I thought to myself, I don't know, I just hope I'm wrong. I'm literally praying that I'm wrong about this guy because he is going to be the president, so I hope he is a good one. I hope he succeeds and does good things for America. Do I believe that'll happen? That's a different story, but I hope he does, okay? But I'm sitting here going, I just hope I'm wrong about this guy. I hope he's not like a nationalist scumbag like I think he is. And I get on Facebook, and the very first thing that I see is a Trump bobblehead wrapped in a flag with a tank behind it shooting its main gun and fireworks going off. And I'm like, okay, there's the nationalist scumbag.
No, I agree. I think the alt-right would be... I think the response would be pretty... You're talking about people who, for the most part, are on the internet. They're not out like the demonstrators we see with Black Lives Matter or this last weekend with the Never Trump people, the Hillary supporters and things. You don't really see them out.
Right.
I'm nervous about seeing them out. What are they going to do? Is it going to just be a protest?
The good news is they don't own guns.
The alt-right?
Oh, no, the Hillary supporters.
Oh, yeah, they don't know.
yeah.
But the alt-right does.
The alt-right does, and they own a lot of them.
And so I think people would, because of the conversation around it's rigged. Mm-hmm. People are pissed off already. Yeah. They're already pissed off enough to vote for Donald freaking Trump. Mm-hmm. That's pretty pissed off.
Yeah.
And then you take that away and give it back to the establishment, where their vote literally didn't matter anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
If that were to happen, if this played out, the election gets stolen from Donald Trump and given to Hillary Clinton, I think there'd be maybe some small protesting. I don't think not at the level that we're currently seeing against him, because there's a lot of that. Like that.
Are you serious?
Here's wait.
You think there'd be
Yeah.
small protesting not at the Hillary Clinton level?
I don't think you would see multiple cities in multiple states. I think you'd maybe see like one big rally or something, like what the Tea Party would do, where there were smaller things and they would do a big one. I think, though, if she got in office, she better have some really freaking good security.
Because a one-off person.
I think
Because-
you are a Stronstridge, which is a Strawn's ostrich, because you have your head in the sand about Trump supporters. I think that's a nuts prediction.
that it'll be like a booth situation.
Yeah, like one guy will go to Washington and be like, "I'm mad," and then go home. No, not
No,
gonna happen.
No. He's
Not
saying,
one guy.
He's saying like a John Wilkes Booth situation. Like a big organization stays underground, doesn't get out and get loud, and then somebody attempts.
I think there will
assassination.
be a big organization, like more akin to what was that one that John Wilkes Booth was into? Oh, the Confederacy. Yeah, I think it would be kind of like that.
Here's the difference. I think the people who are out now feel victimized. Mm-hmm. And there's that victim mentality. I don't see that same thing on the alt-right. I see them, and I think you're looking at me like you don't.
Not yet. But if you take the election away from them after they've had their glory moment, yeah, they're going to feel like victims really fast.
No, I think they're going to think it's rigged, that it's corrupt, that she's a crook, that all the stuff they've said about her the whole time, they will think that. And there was that, what did Donald Trump say, that one speech where he's like, oh, if she gets elected, well, those Second Amendment people, they won't let that happen. Or, I'm paraphrasing, and people are like, oh, he's calling for an assassination or whatever. I think that is, she's been, for as bad as he's been painted, she's been painted just as bad. And the people on the right hate her guts. Mm-hmm. And those, like you said, Jeremy, those are the people with guns. Do I think they're all going to get out and organize? And no, because I just don't see the right organizing as well as the left does.
It'll be the one-off person.
Tell me I'm
Big
wrong,
crossing
but
all.
like, the Tea Party had its day, but it kind of is falling apart. The left does a pretty good job protesting, whether it's SB 1070 or Black Lives Matter or what,
Yeah.
They got the protesting game down.
I mean, it's a fair point. I think you will see people on the street.
Yes, I'm not saying it's going to be like crickets.
But the other thing is, too, a lot of the Trump supporters aren't in major cities. Putting them together into an organized group is more difficult.
Yeah, that's
because
true.
you're finding them in a lot smaller cities, rural areas.
Yep.
Where the culture is leave me alone.
So, but that's all super, like, you can't even really predict that.
No.
Because it's not going to happen. Let's hope, right? Let's hope that doesn't happen.
Yeah, I can't see it happening.
I take issue with the person even suggesting that you do that with the Electoral College. Mm-hmm. Because if that were reversed and she had won and you had Trump people like, oh, the Electoral College can still do it, no one would let that fly.
she'd be
No one
pissed.
on the left would say like, yeah, you know what?
Yeah.
That's how the Electoral College works. You do have that right. Yep. No, they would be totally against that.
No, we would be saying, well, there's another election in 4 years, which, by the way, that's what I was saying before Election Day. But, yeah, we would go, all right, well, we lost. We need to figure out why we lost, and we needed to help people understand principle, and, we would be talking about good things, but we would not be saying, we need to figure out a way to take this back. No.
No, you would just say, "Oh, it was stolen." Obviously, they didn't let him win. You mentioned District of Columbia.
Yeah.
I was looking at this when the votes.
Oh,
were being
the
cast.
statehood.
Ridiculous.
Is that what you're going to talk about?
Yeah.
What? No. I'm
Sorry, I didn't mean to steal
this
your
is just a quick aside. How many electoral votes does District of Columbia have?
3?
I think 3.
3. With 57 reporting, what percentage did the vote go towards?
I think it was 87% or 90, somewhere in there.
To who?
To Hillary.
Yeah.
Yeah.
93% with 181,000 votes. At 57% reporting. Donald Trump, 7,000 votes,
Yeah.
give or take. So that means probably in total about 14,000 people.
It is the most liberal city in America. They also voted
Because they're
they,
government people.
They also voted overwhelmingly to apply for statehood. The District of Columbia to apply
It's
for
This
against
year?
the Constitution for them to be a state, isn't it? It's in the Constitution that it should be states and then the District of Columbia, and it explains how it should be organized.
It says that there should be land given for a capital district, but I don't specifically know that it says that it should never be a state. I do know that the argument at the convention was there should not be a capital state.
Right, because they
Right.
give that one state too much power.
Right. And so that was the reasoning behind it, but I don't think that actually got written all the way into the Constitution.
No, they
Not
can't be a state.
specifically, anyway. I'd have to go back and check, but yeah, they're voting overwhelmingly for statehood now. Now, part of me wants to go. You know what their license plates say? They say taxation without representation. Do you know why?
Why?
They're not a state. They don't get representatives,
Okay.
and they pay taxes.
The majority of them are representatives. Or they work for representatives.
Majority.
There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people
Or
in
they
DC.
work for 'em.
There's a lot of people in the DC city limits that do not work for the government. Have you ever been to Old Chinatown in DC?
No.
Great Chinese food as well as great soul food. By the way,
I'll have to go there.
love Old Chinatown. Also, occasionally, Black Panthers screaming at the top of their lungs. That's fun.
That does sound fun.
Phil
actually.
and my brother can attest to that.
Need to
but
jump in my RV and do a road trip, guys.
yeah, but there's a lot of people that live in D.C. that do not work for the government, or at least do not work for like a senator or a congressman or something like
Sure.
that. Maybe they work for, they're I don't know, some lower office, or they're a police officer or something like that. But they're not working for the federal government per se.
So what does that say if you have the city that's most influential on our federal government
Mm-hmm.
and the city that is essentially a state by itself? Mm-hmm. All the same people. It kind of feels like the point was that so that area doesn't get too powerful.
Too powerful. No, I totally agree
'Cause
with
now
that.
they have a state,
But-
which also goes into all the amendment processes and all those things, voting in the exact same pattern as the federal government.
Mm-hmm. But how do you give those people representation without statehood? Because they deserve a representative. Did you know? Okay, let me backtrack a little bit. What did we have in the English Parliament? The original 13 colonies. What did we have?
I have no idea.
Anybody know?
I don't know.
We
That's
had
a good question.
one representative that did not vote.
It wasn't, they
What
could
does
only
Washington,
debate.
D.C. have?
No.
One representative that does not vote. That's aggravating, right? It's literally taxation without representation, the exact same way that we had it before the American Revolution.
It's a good point.
What-
That's a
what-
good argument.
So if they're voting 93% for Hillary Clinton,
Mm-hmm.
they want to represent more taxation? Because I don't assume the slogan was coined 2 years ago.
Well, it's fascinating. No, I don't think it was. And yeah, they probably would vote for more
Yeah.
taxation, but the point is that they would be represented in their taxes.
To have that one representative
Sure. And
vote.
And it would be one congressman. They'd get two senators, which is the really alarming part of it. Right?
They give him one
But-
senator and one.
I propose to make it fair, leaving completely aside the fact that two senators from the District of Columbia scares the living crap out of me.
Mm-hmm.
I would suggest if you're going to be a state, you cannot be the capital state anymore. So we are going to shrink the size of the District of Columbia to just basically an outline around the federal buildings, the National Mall, all of that. And that is the capital. No homes are in the area, right?
So
if
you
you've
remove
walked around
all
that
the
area-
people.
Yep, you remove the people and you go, okay, that part, that's a state. This is still the District of Columbia and always will be. The only person that's got an address there, was it 2600 Pennsylvania Avenue?
Yeah,
I
I
think?
Pablo
President?
Escobar.
Yeah,
It's his district.
so
Columbia.
That's the
I believe
dumbest
Pablo
joke.
Escobar is dead.
You said there's one guy who lives there.
Well, what if you
It'd be,
instead of them
it'd be a whole
getting
family.
statehood,
But, what's that?
instead of them getting statehood, wouldn't there be an argument to say that they get a representative of their people to represent or a representative, which is the people's voice, in the House of Representatives, but because they're not a state, they don't get anybody in the Senate. So they have representatives from the people, where all of the spending and the taxation is to originate anyway.
That could be fair, but the problem is you need a constitutional amendment to do it because in order to have representation in the House of Representatives, you have to be a state.
I think you could push for that. I think most people would find that reasonable.
Just a constitutional amendment that says the District of Columbia shall have
Representatives
one representative.
or representatives based on population, just like any other state would.
Mm-hmm.
But the House of Representatives is supposed to represent the people,
Right.
and the Senate's supposed to represent the state, and it's not a state,
And they have the power of the purse.
right?
So yeah,
So
you could do it either way.
Representation for taxation. I think that's a fair.
I
thing to do.
think the shrink the DC is better.
I don't.
Put the population. I say give the population if they want to be a state so bad.
Yeah.
Give the population back to Maryland. That's where it came from to begin with, right?
Oh yeah, just that would make sense if you said this is all Maryland. And
Yeah.
these buildings right here, this square.
Yeah, that's the District of Columbia.
And the rest of it's Maryland.
The part of the land that we got from Maryland goes back to Maryland because they're already one of the most liberal states in the union anyway.
No,
So you
wouldn't-
get more liberals. There you go.
Should we talk about Prop 205?
I don't know what there is to talk about, but if you want to,
Are you guys happy that it didn't pass?
yeah, I am kind of. I'm a little bit look, okay. I'm all about freedom. People want to smoke weed. I'm not all up in their business. I honestly just don't care. But the problem with Prop 205 was that it was what was the slogan? The treat marijuana like alcohol bill or whatever proposition, right? Well, what they wanted to do was, number one, create more government and then tax the living crap out of people that wanted to do this one thing, which is how we treat alcohol. Alcohol gets taxed a lot.
Yeah.
So I understand the thinking behind it.
Sure.
But at the same time, you're going to create more bureaucracy and more taxes. So it's like, well, if I vote yes, I'm actually voting for a vice tax, which I generally oppose, and I'm voting for bigger bureaucracy. If I vote no, I'm voting against freedom of choice and people's right to do with their body what they want to do. I did vote no. I voted against it. And I didn't feel anything one way or the other. It was a little bit like the presidency. I made a mark on paper. That's how it
Yeah.
felt.
Interesting, because I voted for it because I am for liberty. No buts, Jeremy. I'm for liberty, but come on, give me a break. No, I think the way the current system. Do I want something to be taxed ridiculously? No, absolutely not. But do I want people to go into prison for marijuana? No, I don't want that. Do I want the drug cartels to have more power and more money? No, I don't want that.
Well, there was this one guy that thought up a really brilliant, and maybe you could even call it a sexy plan. I don't know. You could definitely call the guy sexy. Try this on for size. Okay, so you first start by making marijuana, or not marijuana, drug use in general, an aggravating circumstance for a crime, right? So basically what that means, robbery's bad, armed robbery is worse, right? Armed is the aggravating circumstance. You have a weapon, it makes robbery worse, okay? Well, make either possession of drugs at the time of the felony or a felony committed in order to obtain drugs or obtain money for drugs,
Or
right?
felony committed while on the drugs.
You break into some, right? Or you're high while you do it. You break into somewhere, you're either high while you do it, or, second scenario, you steal a TV, take it to the pawn shop, sell it, and then you're caught with drugs on you. They go, oh, well, did you buy drugs with that money? Or they just prove that it, because you're probably not going to admit to it if you know it's a crime. But
Yep, I totally did.
they
Got me.
prove it, or they prove it,
Somehow,
right. And then that's a worse crime.
sure.
Okay, that's to me is a step in the right direction. It's sort of an anti-progressive step, right? It's not a legalization of drugs, which obviously Arizona at least can't handle right now, right? And it is not putting people in prison anymore for simple possession, right? It's just simply, yeah, drugs are bad. We're not condoning them, but we're not going to put a guy away because he's got an ounce of weed in his pocket or whatever. Just simply the aggravating circumstance. Because if you talk to most people that are against legalization of drugs, they present this argument, which is a really bad argument, I might add. You should come up with something better if this is your argument. But they'll say, oh, well, people get high and then, they like punch somebody, or, people get high and then they go break into a house. Or people get high and then they drive and okay. Fine, it's the aggravating circumstance. All of that is not just bad, it's worse.
I was more concerned about minimum wage. I wasn't that concerned about either direction.
And it freaking passed.
Yeah. See, Arizona is very confusing to me. I don't understand.
Well, here's the thing. Arizona was closer than it's ever been. Arizona,
Right.
the difference was only like 80,000 votes. We had a Republican sheriff that was a piece of crap, and I'm glad to see him go, but he got voted out and replaced with a Democrat. We had a lot of Democrats turn out. We were one of the states, that Trump didn't come and convince and coax, right? And Hillary's people showed up to the polls in this state, which was not the case in many other states, but here they did. And therefore, we now have a higher minimum wage, or we're going to soon.
So don't you think, though, that those people would vote for the legal weed? That's what's so confusing to me.
I know a lot of Democrats that are not legal weed.
Really?
Yeah. And I think it's a sort of protectionism thing.
Like the morals of it kind of thing?
No, I think it's what I'm saying is that a lot of Democrats come from lower income, right? Not all of them, right? Not stereotyping, but a lot of them come from lower income areas, and they probably have seen the effects of drugs in their community or something like that. And so it's a protectionism. It's a no.
They know how bad it can be.
Yeah, I don't want to have to deal with that. I don't want my kids to have to deal with that. And so they're trying to vote it out of existence. It's just a guess and an observation, just based on.
Isn't that though
what I see?
Like it's already illegal, and if you see how bad it is, and it's currently illegal, you can't make it more. I mean, I guess you could make the penalties more severe, but you can't make it more illegal. So you're kind of just keep doing the same thing over and over again, seeing the same results.
Yeah.
Seems like you might want to.
Yeah, tweak it a little bit.
Try something different.
I would just like to say,
maybe not have the cops showing up all the time.
Have you heard anybody else say, how about an aggravating circumstance?
Who said that, Rand Paul?
Jeremy freaking West said that. That's my plan.
Oh, that's your plan. I thought you said sexy man. You always call Rand Paul sexy.
Oh, is that why Monica said man crush?
Yeah.
You just thought I was talking about Rand Paul?
Yeah.
No, I have a man crush on myself. I'm sexy.
I've never heard anyone else say that. I like that plan.
Yes, it's a freaking great plan. It's called the Jeremy West plan. Politicians, you can adopt it. You can have it for free. I do not trademark it.
No, I
In fact, call me. I'm a freaking law student. I'll write it for you.
I just don't understand Arizona,
Also for free.
this election.
Well, I think you have a lot of Christians here, a lot of Mormons here, who don't like weed, and you have a lot of transplants from Southern California.
Yep. And our conservative here is not all that conservative. They think they are. Well, actually, you know what? No, I take that back. They're not that libertarian. They are conservative. They conserve the status quo, and the status quo is illegal drug use.
But,
And so
but,
let's just keep things the way they are.
But what do you remember what medicinal passed by?
I don't.
Because that was I thought that was shocking at the time. Oh, Arizona medicinal weed, wow! Because we were kind of at the forefront of that. I mean, not the very front, but we picked it up pretty quick.
Yeah.
But now there's a ton of other states that have gone recreational.
There was a lot of money, though, in advertising against recreational weed.
Yeah, your kids are going to get it. Okay.
The kids are going to get medical marijuana.
No, if it's legal.
Oh.
If it's recreational, it looks like candy.
Well, I suppose if it's stuffed inside of a brownie, it looks rather appealing to
Right,
people.
because they have all the candies, the edibles
Kids.
and stuff. And it's like, I don't even smoke weed. I just think the principle of it is so stupid. Mm-hmm. Oh, you want to put
Right.
something in your body? Nope. Can't do that. Go to jail. Come on.
No, I agree with you that it is crazy. And it's not just like illegal marijuana since the 60s. It's trying to ban substances since the first prohibition,
Right.
since the 19-teens. I think it was 1913.
What is that? Is that
Can't remember. Maybe 14.
Is that a Diet Coke? Is that 16 ounces? That's 32 ounces? Get it out of here.
Yep.
Go to jail.
Go to jail.
I think somebody did pass a sugar tax too.
Sugar.
I just heard about it on the radio,
This-
and I literally heard the last segment
On this-
of it, so I don't know what was going on. I just thought of that
On these
though, so
ballots?
I don't know for sure.
Wow. Wouldn't surprise me. Wouldn't surprise me.
So, well, there it is.
I just want to. Can I just vote directly for the handcuffs to go right on me? Can I do that? Can you vote to just be in handcuffs?
There was 4 cities passed sugar taxes.
Oh, you've got to be freaking kidding me! Wait,
Sugar-
wait, 4 cities on ballots?
Must have been.
Or-
San Francisco, 62%.
Oh my gosh!
Albany, Oakland,
62%?
Boulder, Colorado.
Albany, Oakland, and Boulder. San Francisco, Albany, Oakland, and Boulder. Boulder, do you hear the company you keep? San Francisco, Albany. What was the last one?
But they had. Well, so
Was it for the
Colorado
kids?
passed recreational weed. They had to do something to curb the munchies to keep the costs down on all the obese people.
Was it for the kids?
It was for the
all
children.
the fat kids.
We gotta have the tax. It'll keep them from stopping eating the sugar, and we'll have more money to spend on education.
It's always on.
We're going to tax the
education.
sugar and then use the money to make the kids run. Run laps with that sugar
To
money.
Kids will show up to school on Monday, and where desks used to be, there will be treadmills. Run, fat kid!
How long?
It's for your own good.
How long have we been doing?
That shouldn't be funny. That's not funny.
How long have we been
It
doing
is.
public education, Jeremy?
19,
Well, public
20. When did they implement?
public schools. I mean, it's been a
How about the Department of Education? How long has that been a thing?
Department of Education's not that old. I think only 1960s or 70s.
We've had all that time to educate these people, and who'd they vote for? Donald Trump. It's not working, people. It's not working.
Yeah, public education's never going to work for that purpose. Well,
All
Facebook
right.
fans, we love you.
We done? We done with this nonsense?
We are done.
You're the host.
All right. Thank
You guys
for
watching
listening to the podcast.
Westworld? Probably not. You watching Westworld?
Don't even know what it is.
The hosts.
Are you watching it?
Made me think of it. Yeah, it's pretty good.
All right, guys. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Thanks for tuning in on Facebook. Don't forget to hit us up if you ever have questions, comments, or topics that you would like us to talk about. Don't forget to share our stuff. The more people who see us, the more we can do. And we'll talk to you later.
Ideas, inspiration, information. Three-headed eagle.
Why are you laughing at me, man?
The more people who see us, the more we can do. So, like when 10
When our
people,
numbers get up, we can start getting sponsors, man.
when 10
Real
people
ones
start
instead of fake ones.
when 10 people start watching, Jeremy will be able to juggle. The more
Why?
people,
How did your brain go there?
the more
That
people
is
who
stupid, Sean. Come on. Everybody knows that's stupid. I will be able to do a double backflip.
While juggling.
the more people who watch us, the
Yeah.
more we can do.
Yeah.
Eventually, we'll get to like Superman levels of abilities.
That's
Duh.
the hope.
Only
All we have to do is go viral.
I would be Captain America, not Superman. Because he's cooler. I'm just saying. I'm shutting this off. If I can get up. Dadgummit.
You're stuck. You're stuck. Everyone on Facebook's seeing it.
Oh. I'm fat. I need a sugar tax.